Welcome to Frequency Medicine, the podcast for intuitive women, empaths, healers, and heart led seekers who are ready to reconnect to their body, intuition, and truth through nervous system healing and energetic alignment. I'm your host, Fiona Waddell, transformational energy healer, medical intuitive, and guide for spiritual women walking the path of embodiment and soul level clarity. If you've ever felt like your inner voice has gone silent or like you can't hear your intuition anymore, this episode is for you. Let's start with the real truth. Your intuition is never gone. Never. It's still there. Always. But when your body is in survival mode, like hypervigilant, anxious, exhausted, or numb, that intuitive signal can get buried under layers of stress, chemistry, and nervous system overload. Like when your system is dysregulated, it prioritizes safety over subtlety. Your primal brain isn't looking for downloads, it's looking for danger. So if you're overthinking every decision, doubting your gut, feeling foggy, distracted, or disconnected, or stuck in procrastination, analysis paralysis, or people pleasing, that doesn't mean you're blocked. It means your biology is doing its job, keeping you alive. It just hasn't been taught how to feel safe enough to hear the whisper of the higher self. Most women are taught to try harder to be intuitive, to push, be open, tune in, even when their bodies are screaming no. But forcing intuitive access from a dysregulated state is like trying to hear a whisper in the middle of a rock concert. Your body is being flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. Your vagus nerve is shut down. Your brain is in high beta wave survival mode. Here's the science, because you all know I like a little bit of this stuff. The vagus nerve, your main parasympathetic nerve, controls rest, digestion, and deep perception. When it's toned and active, you access alpha and theta brainwaves, the very waves that support intuitive insight, inner vision, and soul level clarity. When it's shut down, your body is too dang busy for you to perceive subtle energy messages or feel goosebumps or sense when something's off. This isn't about effort, it's about safety. Safety. Until your nervous system feels safe, your intuition stays locked in the vault. It's a survival instinct. So instead of asking, why can't I hear my guides? Try asking, where in my body feels unsafe to be me right now? That's where the door is. I remember the moment I realized I couldn't hear myself anymore. It was late November, early December 2021. I was teaching, guiding, doing lots of sessions. I just had come off amazing run of tours across Ontario doing psychic fairs, done tons of readings. I was burnt out, total burnout mode. I had jumped out of doing basic contracts locally, doing Reiki energy healing, or working at a rehabilitation center, addiction recovery center, doing Reiki, and my home-based business, and working online, teaching occasional courses, to becoming a full-time psychic reader on the road. Yeah, it was a lot. It was exciting. It was a beautiful experience, and I continue to do it, but my body, it wasn't there yet. So my body was exhausted. I was performing energy, but I couldn't feel it. I actually stopped doing readings for like 3 weeks. It didn't matter how many cards I pulled, or crystals I held, or meditations, and my inner voice was wonky static. So how did I get back into alignment? What brought it back? I rested. I finally surrendered. Um, the question about money, I just tapped into my savings, um, and surrendered to the universe. I embodied, and so I addressed my feelings, let myself not know for a while. Like the how, I couldn't. Um, it was actually during this time I said yes to going across Western Canada for 4 months on the road. Yeah. Um, the opportunity came up, and because I was just saying, universe, show me at this point, uh, I said yes. And I rebuilt trust through small acts of listening. I took time for myself every day. And when something came up, I would stop and check in, which for me, being neurospicy, was very challenging, but I was seeing the benefit of it. And so I'll be sharing more about that. It wasn't an angel choir moment. It was a gentle, slow return for me. And that's how your intuition really comes back. Not through drama or pressure, but through gentle relationship repair with your own body. So, here are some reconnecting steps for you to help you rebuild that intuitive bridge. Number one, regulate first, always. So, I've mentioned before squared breathing, like 4 in, 4 hold, 4 exhale, and 4 hold, or you can do the 5-5-5 method, exactly the same, but with a 5 count. Humming or chanting to tone the vagus nerve, and just placing your hand on your heart, eyes closed, and say, I'm safe to feel what I feel. And just let the floodgates open. Second one is ask small questions. And this took work for me, but I did it and it paid off. Start with like simple yes, no. Do I want tea or coffee? And trust whatever comes up. It can be simple, like, do I read a book or do I take a nap? Do I listen to a meditation? Do I go for a walk? Or do I do both? Trust whatever comes up. This teaches your body that intuition is safe to receive and act on. It's like baby steps, folks. Third is use your clairsentience, the ability to just to feel things in your body. So, what sensations rise up when you think about something? Is there tension? Is there warmth? Do you lean into it? Are you repelled by it? Does it upset your stomach? Does it feel expansive? Your body is your first oracle. I I can't stress enough. I can see people at shows and in sessions when they lean in, they're attracted. And when they lean back and they sit back in their chair, I can tell that they're disengaging. They're not aligning with the energy. And that's okay. You know, it's not going to shift how I'm reading or such, but it's an observation. It's a basic energy. Um, and I hear that at the shows when I explain the cards or what I'm reading and picking up, and they said, yeah, I felt the same way. I had a feeling it was that. That's your clairsentience. It was speaking to you, and you're just coming to me for validation at this point. So, number four is create a safe listening space. Try sitting quietly with a candle or put on soft theta music. It's on YouTube, folks. There's tons of it. Listen to nature tunes. I put on some nature sounds and chill out. Journaling stream of consciousness. I did this way before I was in this world when I was teaching English as a second language as a teacher in Japan. I was there for 4 years, and my last 2 years, I started to just think deeply. I just had these deep thoughts. and I was teaching ESL. I was helping teach other teachers and running monthly meetings with other ESL teachers. And I was a part of a publishing team writing dialogues and conversations as native speakers to help them write a new textbook. And so I was busy, but I found on my days off, I got 2 days off a week, every Sunday and Monday. I spent every Sunday afternoon for 2 or 3 hours after being in the gym. I go up to the gym and work out for a couple hours. And then I was downstairs in the cafe and I would just write stream of consciousness. Like it was sometimes the same thing, but I literally wrote the voice in my head on the book and just helped me explore. I must have gone through like the Hyakuen store, the 100 yen store, in the dollar store, their version of the dollar store, the 100 yen store. Um, I must have gone through, I must have been there like every other week buying a notebook, new notebook, and the same set of like felt pens. I just loved them, black pens. And I would sit in the cafe for a couple of hours and they knew my order when I came in. I was at the Timothy's Cafe and I didn't have to order it in Japanese anymore. They would just be like, "Kohi," and I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, that's me." Um, because I would just have a basic black coffee and then sweeten it up. And it was simple and easy. And looking back, that was a huge turning point in my life because at the end of those 2 years, I hit a turning point when I knew I had to come back to Canada. My family needed me back here, my mom and such, and it just seemed like the right time to come back. And because I have a close relationship with my mom, and I also wanted to settle some other things. And from doing those years, a couple of years of that journaling, I knew I didn't have a place in Japan at that time, and it was a time to come back to Canada. And I could do it with ease and no regret. That change happened like in a snap. So it helps you not necessarily for the clear answers, but for connection. And I can tell you for 2 years, I just wrote. And when it came up, I didn't hesitate. They said, "Oh," I was even offered a promotion and I turned it down and I was like, "Mm-mm, uh, I'm ready to go back. It's my time." And I had that knowingness. I didn't even have to ask the question of my intuition. I just had that knowingness. Fifth is celebrate those micro messages. I was just sharing this. I was teaching a Reiki level 2 class and we were talking about the Reiki wheel. And I love that as a manifesting tool as opposed to a vision board. But I was saying to them, like, some of them had fantastical, wonderful, big dreams, expansive goals. And I said, "That's awesome. Can you break it down a wee bit just so that you can celebrate some successes?" Because I said, "You've put down potentially, I hate putting time on stuff, potentially a 5 year plan, because look where you're at now. And I want you to stay in that field of like, you can do it and believing. And I want you to set what feels like more achievable markers. So if we're talking about money, instead of saying like, I want $50,000 for X, um, say that's your goal, $50,000 for X, and saving $200 a month. So that when she gets to that point, because she's nowhere close to that, when she gets to that $200 a month, she can be like, "I'm on track, woohoo!" And sit in that energy of the 50K with complete trust and confidence. So it's so powerful to create moments of celebration. So that thought that popped in randomly, that inner nudge to take the scenic route, that that chill when somebody said something true, that's it. That's your frequency speaking. Celebrate it. Just celebrate. Um, Journal. That's why I'm all over my students to journal. It's You don't have to journal everything. Like for me, as I said, I'm neurospicy. Um, just a bullet point here or there when you've had those aha moments. And then when you flip through your journal 3 months later, you can be like, "Oh, that's much as that." And you can see all the synchronicities and you can totally be in that energy of high five. Intuition doesn't need to shout, it just needs you to be available. So if you celebrate, You're setting that space and you're available. So let's jump a little more into science again. Your body is literally built to be intuitive. Every cell emits biophotons, tiny particles of light that carry information throughout your entire body. When you regulate your nervous system and drop into presence, your heart field expands, your brain waves slow, and your cellular light communication becomes more coherent, aka aligned. This allows your body to function like a receiver, picking up intuitive data from your environment and higher self. They found trained intuitives and healers emit higher, more organized frequency waves. Not because they're better, but because they've learned how to stay present, open, and grounded. And you can too. The only difference between myself and someone beginning is that I've been practicing this more. And trust me, I can slip into it as quickly as I can slip out of it. It's called a frequency wave, not like a frequency permanent, folks. So it's waving in and out. It shifts. Everything's moving. But as an trained intuitive and healer, I can get into that state more readily. But that came from practice. And I genuinely believe everyone, everyone can get into that state because the science speaks for itself, folks. The science speaks like hands down. So, a little heart and gut listening. Here's a little practice for you. So, place your hands on your heart and take a couple of deep breaths in and out. Okay. And ask, what do I know to be true today? And if you need to pause the podcast, go right ahead and journal away. Then place your hands on your stomach and ask, what's my body trying to tell me? Again, pause if you need to. Don't think, just listen, please. Write it down and let it be enough. If you don't understand it, that's okay. Maybe you're not meant to right now. Just put it down there and then say to the universe, I don't get it. And then trust me, they always drop more messages and you're good to go. This is how you rebuild the channel. You are intuitive by nature, but your gifts need safety to emerge, not pressure. We don't need anyone falling on the sword here, folks. You don't need to be clearer. You need to be kinder to your body. Because the moment your nervous system feels safe, your intuition speaks loud and clear. You're not broken. You are a signal tuning back in. If you want to deepen this work, and you kind of like what you hear, grab the Reset and Rise Ritual Kit. It's a free guide to reset your nervous system, activate your intuition, and reconnect to your sacred energy. And the link is in the notes. So until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and stay in your frequency.